the Targaryens have had an age-old connection with dragons. There's absolutely no denying that. But you know what? They don't have monopoly over it. I mean, there were a lot of other people in the past who rode dragons. You know, the fellow dragon lords. And it is a well-documented fact that the Targaryens were not even the strongest of dragon lords in Old Valyria. Their influence, authority, and power increased only after they came to Westeros. Anyway, the point is that Targaryens have had dragons since their time in Old Valyria, and after Rhaenys, the queen who never was, married Corlys, even members of House Velaryon started bonding with dragons. Furthermore, both Targaryens and Velaryons are from Old Valyria, which makes the Velaryons more suited to ride the dragons than other houses. But the Velaryons were never dragon lords, only Targaryens, because they had something to do with magic and supernatural powers, as can be seen from the visions of Helena Targaryen. And the fact that she can appear in two places at once is nothing short of a superpower or, you know, high-grade magic. But the origin of these powers and abilities is probably grounded in blood magic, which is also mentioned in George R.R. Martin's The World of Ice and Fire. So in this video, we will see all about Targaryens and Velaryons as a whole, and see why exactly Targaryens are not the only dragon riders. Additionally, I will also talk about the factors that guides dragon riding. For example, the magical element in the blood of dragon lords. So, without further ado, let's begin. Oh, and if you like our content, please consider subscribing to us. It may be a small click for you, but that means a lot to us. Alright, thanks. Yep, let's begin.
I was unsure that I believed it myself. The Targaryen, who sits the Iron Throne.
Magic is what binds dragons to Valyrians. I am not sure if you are aware, but the Valyrian freehold was not really the best of empires. It was cruel, it was dark, and full of evil and mysterious stuff. In fact, these guys enslaved thousands and thousands of Giscari people, forcing them to work the mines to extract gold and other precious materials. Apart from slave labor, the two other things that the Valyrians heavily depended on were dragons and sorcery. Some sacred, the others, well, not so much. It is believed that the Valyrians performed experiments on fireworms and wyverns to merge them into the dragons we see today. Additionally, to ensure the whole bonding thing, the Valyrians also performed blood magic between themselves and dragons, a proof of which was shown as a short sequence in the House of the Dragon opening credits. This modified the genetic makeup of the Targaryen, and not only got additional abilities that looked like superpowers, but also changed their physical appearance. I mean, why else would they have those silver white hair and those lilac eyes, right? Many of the premature Targaryen children that are born have weird dragon-like features. Dany's child Rhaego and Rhaenyra's daughter Visenya Targaryen. However, normal babies retain the magic, and it is what ties them to the dragons. Humans never claim dragons. It is the opposite. It was a long-standing belief that humans claim dragons. But you know what? It's actually the exact opposite. Let's take Adam and Seasmoke, for instance. In the 6th episode of House of the Dragon, Seasmoke's afternoon glide over Spicedown turned eventful. Normally, you might think he was just stretching his wings or hunting, but this time, it was different. He zeroed in on Adam, charging at him and driving him into the woods before they bonded. It's clear that Adam has grown into someone who craves respect and a deeper connection with his lineage and House Valyria. It's a trait that he shares with Laenor, who was deeply committed to his family and their honor. Laenor's disappearance left Seasmoke without a rider, wandering alone, as noted by Mysaria and reflected in Rhaenyra's comments about Seasmoke's old routines with Laenor. It seems Seasmoke still visited Spicedown, perhaps out of habit or in memory of Laenor, but on this occasion, his purpose was pivotal: to find a new rider, someone akin to Laenor. Both sons of Corlys Velaryon, Laenor, and Adam share not just a bloodline, but a fervent desire to uphold their family's prestige. Laenor took drastic steps like marrying Rhaenyra to support his house, while Adam has consistently sought his father's approval and embraced the duties toward the queen his father serves. Dragon claimants have found success by allowing the creature to approach them first, gauging their worthiness. This was certainly the case with Seasmoke and Adam, as well as with other dragons like Vermithor and Silver wing, who only bonded with riders who respected their space and allowed them to initiate contact. This approach contrasts sharply with those like Sir Stefan, who got too close for comfort and suffered for it. So yeah, it is the dragon who claims you and bonds with you instead of you bonding with them. And think about it, over the period of time, great men like King Viserys and Tyrion Lannister have reminded us that a dragon cannot be tamed, and anyone who thinks they can control dragons is absolutely wrong. Just ask Aemon. He'll tell you it was not his fault that Lucerys died.
Come on!
You can win a dragon by other means. When Jacaerys Valerian called upon the residents of Dragonstone to claim dragons, knights and men-at-arms threw themselves into the fray. Among them, 3 found success, but many were maimed or perished. Then there was Nettles, a woman without notable strength or martial prowess who managed to bond with Sheep Stealer, a dragon no one had previously tamed. Nettles took a different approach. She used her wit over might, understanding that dragons, like all creatures, respond to those who feed them. Nettles began bringing Sheep Stealer a freshly slaughtered sheep each morning. With every offering, the dragon grew more accustomed to her presence. Gradually, Nettles was able to get closer to the beast, until finally, Sheep Stealer permitted her to mount. Her method of acquiring these sheep remains a subject of speculation. So yeah, you can totally bond with a dragon using your wit and cunning, and who knows, there might be other ways as well. I mean, I think if you found a wild dragon that just hatched from its egg, would want to bond with you, give you care for it. Having said that, some speculate that Nettles possessed magical powers, which helped her in her success more than just her strategy with the sheep. These claims, however, remain firmly in the realm of speculation, with no concrete evidence to back them up. In one of the biggest changes from the book, House of the Dragon has decided to axe the character of Nettles and replace her with Rhaena Targaryen, the daughter of Laena and Daemon. This would make the bonding process fairly easier. House of the Dragon finally admitted a 300-year-old lie. Following the deaths of Rhaenys Targaryen and her dragon Meleys, along with Daemon's absence at Harrenhal in the 2nd season of House of the Dragon, Rhaenyra faces a serious shortage of Dragonriders. Though there are several dragons on Dragonstone, like Vermithor, Silverwing, and Seasmoke, to name a few, the challenge lies in finding suitable riders, especially after Rhaenys' near-fatal attempt to claim one. So, historically, Valyrian texts have often boasted of the Targaryens' unique bond with dragons, which seems to say that only those of pure Valyrian descent and noble birth could master such creatures. However, Jace points out in the 5th episode of Season 2 that the Valyrian histories might exaggerate the necessity of Targaryen blood for dragon riding. George R. R. Martin's Fire and Blood, which serves as the source for the show, clearly says that even individuals without pure Targaryen lineage can indeed become dragon riders. That's what happened in the show, actually. People like Adam of Hull, a recognized bastard of Corlys Velaryon, along with Hugh Hammer and Ulf White, both of whom claim some degree of Valyrian heritage, though these claims vary in credibility. But the question is, why did the Targaryens go to such extents to spread the lie?
The dragon will only accept a dragon lord to ride it. Also say the histories.
Targaryens needed the lie to sustain themselves. The idea that only Targaryens could become dragon riders wasn't just a fanciful tale, but a cornerstone of their dominance in Westeros. When Aegon the Conqueror, alongside his sister wives, Visenya and Rhaenys, arrived on the backs of their formidable dragons, Balerion, Vhagar, and Meraxes, they didn't just conquer the continent, they elevated the Targaryen status to near divine. This belief that Targaryens were akin to gods wasn't based solely on their royal blood or, commanding presence, but significantly on their unique bond with dragons. This exclusivity in dragon riding has been a critical piece of Targaryen history, which cast them not just as rulers, but as beings above the common fray of Westerosi politics and power struggles. Their will to marry within the family and set themselves apart with other unconventional customs stems from this perceived closeness to divinity, a status that was further pronounced and sustained by their dragons. The belief in their sole claim to dragon riding has been imperative in maintaining not just their rule, but their mystique, mixing fear, reverence, and wonder among the people. Game of Thrones introduced the first non-Targaryen Dragonrider. In Game of Thrones, no one, literally no one saw it coming, but the Night King became a Dragonrider. And that moment when Dany's poor dead dragon becomes undead and opens his blue eyes, people shivered in fear and shock. This came in Season 7, Episode 6, Beyond the Wall, after he brought down Viserion and resurrected him as part of his undead legion. This sparked widespread speculation about whether the Night King himself might be a Targaryen, given his ability to control the undead dragon. However, the explanation is less about bloodlines and more about the nature of the whites, which the Night King controls indiscriminately, dragon or not. Furthermore, in Season 8, Episode 3, titled The Long Night, the Night King exhibited an ability to withstand dragonfire, something that fueled additional rumors of his Targaryen heritage. This ability, however, seems unique to Daenerys among the Targaryens, likely due to specific magical circumstances surrounding her surviving Khal Drogo's funeral pyre. So basically, Targaryens have some abilities, but Daenerys' ability to withstand all kinds of fire makes her special, extremely special, and it should not be considered a general trait among Targaryens. Given the lore of Westeros, the Night King predates even the ancient civilization of Valyria, the original home of the Targaryens. According to the series, he was created by the children of the forest from one of the first men. This timeline makes it highly unlikely for him to be a Targaryen. There's a remote possibility that he could be a Stark, considering some theories about his origins, but a Targaryen connection is virtually impossible. Nonetheless, his capacity to mount and command Viserion means that, alive or undead, dragons might be ridden by non-Targaryens under extraordinary circumstances. And that's the end of the video. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.